Hey, welcome to Animal Crossing. My name is Animal Crossing. We bring you the latest in everything Animal Crossing every single day. Today's Animal Crossing is dedicated to the lovable and furry, adorable slumlord known as Tom Nook. We owe you everything, Mr. Nook, and we're still paying. But also to all the first responders and to all of the, people that are working out there right now that are essential workers. We really appreciate you. And I also personally appreciate all of you that are doing the right thing and you are self-isolating. Let's get started with your Animal Crossing. It's Monday, so we could talk about the weekend box office, except we can't. All the major Hollywood studios and all the big box office theater chains are suspending global box office reporting for the first time in decades. That makes sense given that there are only around 230 theaters in all of North America still open for business, and most of those are locally owned cinemas or old-school drive-ins. On top of that, there isn't really anything to go and see because all the big movies have either been delayed or released early on digital platforms.
Oh no.
Speaking of which, Bad Boys 3 and the Sonic movie are the latest. Both will get an early digital release on March 31st, just 2 months after they first hit theaters. According to Deadline, the last time box office numbers weren't reported was back in 1994 following the Northridge, California earthquake, and that was because the employees at the box office analytics firm Exhibitor Relations couldn't physically enter the building. There's no telling when theaters will get back up and running. This is a sign of the times. I think that we've got a lot of industries, not just the entertainment industry, and sometimes I do feel guilty that that's what we report on here at Electric Playground is all of the fun stuff that's out in the world. But of course, every industry has been impacted some way or another. But the movie industry is such a visible one. It's such an important part of our lives here with EP, and I think anybody that is a consumer of entertainment, which is pretty much everybody, let's be honest, it is quite shocking to see this massive disruption, but it's necessary. This is us taking steps as a species to try to curb a virus that we have no cure for. There is no other way for this to play out. We have to stay home. We can't go to movie theaters, and it's not an essential service. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how long this lasts and how this all plays out, but I think, as we've been talking about for the last week, this digital strategy is not a bad one. There's still lots of finished and almost finished stuff that's in the pipeline that we would all love to see, especially if we're all cooped up in isolation. Movie sales are obviously down, but it looks like video games are doing better than ever. Animal Crossing New Horizons is flying off shelves faster than a new fishing rod from Nook Inc. That's according to UK retailers who haven't released specific numbers but claim that New Horizons has already sold more copies than the launch sales of all the previous Animal Crossing games combined. And that's just from physical copies sold in retail stores, which only just closed down in the UK, so there's no telling how well the game is doing online. Nintendo hasn't released official numbers for the rest of the world, but it's a good bet that the game is selling just as well everywhere else. The runner-up in the UK is a game that launched on the same day, Doom Eternal, which, as you can see, is very similar to Animal Crossing. Yeah, Animal Crossing, I've been playing it all weekend. I'll have a review for you very soon. We might hear from my daughter, Ruby, who I think is playing it right now. Are you playing Animal Crossing right now, Ruby? She sure is. Okay, we'll have some thoughts on that very soon. But almost everybody on my playlist was playing Animal Crossing. I kept getting the little boop, somebody's online, boop, playing Animal Crossing, boop. And it was all over the world because I've got a lot of Facebook friends that are mostly in the video game industry that are in different territories everywhere. So I've been playing it quite a bit. You know, it's very easy to look down the nose at video games and to think that people are just sort of killing time and they're not really contributing. They're kind of escaping. And all of that, you know, there's a truth to it for sure. And too much of a good thing is not a good thing. But in a time like this, in a crisis like this, where the best thing that we can do is to stay home and isolate from other people so that we're not spreading something around, video games are incredibly valuable, incredibly important. It feels like we are tripping into imagination and getting real fulfillment out of it. Video games in a time like this could not be more crucial. Now, just because Animal Crossing is doing so well doesn't mean that Nintendo is in a good mood when it comes to another new game. Nintendo has forced Sony to remove Nintendo-themed content from the PS4 game creation game, Dreams. As anyone could have predicted, one of the first things people started doing when the game launched was make their own Mario levels, something that Nintendo and their lawyers weren't too happy about. According to Dream's streamer Piece of Craft, Sony has removed the content at the direct request of Nintendo, objecting to the use of their intellectual property. It's unclear if other copyright holders have been asked for their content to be removed as well. And I think that this is going to be something we're going to see in Dreams going forward for sure. I can see it being a bit of a touchy and sore subject for, Nintendo as the true copyright holder on a lot of these types of characters. But I also believe that there is a sense of tribute through work like this, and as long as it's not a direct copyright infringement and it's like taking a level from a game and just rebuilding it for Dreams, I think that there should be a bit of a sense of gratitude. I think that people love your characters so much and love your worlds and creations so much that they want to kind of emulate that. And I think the trick here for the creators, and this would be my advice, is to build stuff that is more working towards honoring that work rather than replicating that work. Try to get yourself into the headspace of a Miyamoto and think, what would I do if I had the ability to create worlds and levels and things like that? And then it feels more like you're paying homage rather than just trying to pull that and stick it into another game, My character, speaking of which, in Animal Crossing has a Batman t-shirt on and a Batman hat on that I made. And I love those little creations because they represent my love for Batman, and I imbued it into my avatar in this experience. And I think that kind of thing is valuable, and it shows that these characters that are crafted for us transcend their confines. They're a part of the zeitgeist and a part of popular consciousness. That's why we care about them so much, is that we can kind of see them everywhere. I see Nintendo's side of it, but as long as this work isn't an outright copy, I think that they should be more flattered than anything else. Now, did we say Dreams is a PS4 game? Because it's probably a PS4 and PS5 game. Sony has clarified that most PS4 games will be backwards compatible on the PS5. Last week, during their Road to PS5 video presentation, hardware architect Mark Cerny told his very real and very realistic live studio audience that almost all of the 100 best PS4 games will be playable on the PS5, which sounded like there would be less than 100 total.
We recently took a look at the top 100 PlayStation 4 titles as ranked by playtime, and we're expecting almost all of them to be playable at launch on PlayStation 5.
Now, writing on the PlayStation blog, Sony claims that the overwhelming majority of the 4,000 plus PS4 titles will be playable on PS5. So it sounds like Mark Cerny should have said that you'll get most of the 100 best games and most of all of the other games too. Sony hasn't said how exactly backwards compatibility will work, but Ubisoft might have shed some light on the matter. They've revealed that their hit game Rainbow Six Siege will be backwards compatible using actual game discs, so you can take your disc of Rainbow Six Siege on PS4, put it into your PS5, or take your Xbox One disc and put it in your Xbox Series X. In-game progress will also carry over, and you'll be able to play with friends using the previous consoles using cross-generational matchmaking. Now, all of this backwards compatibility talk is great. I think that this is fantastic stuff, and I think that it's incredibly important for us to be able to carry our libraries forward. I don't think the whole story around backwards compatibility for the PlayStation 5 has been told. I think Xbox has done a much better job sort of conveying their appreciation and their respect for every generation of Xbox, even going back to the original Xbox. And I think PlayStation should echo some of that sentiment as well, even if it's going to be some kind of measured ability to go back to PS1 through PS3 on PlayStation 5. I think Sony should say that, but I think they're probably waiting for like actual hardware reveal time, and they want to put all the specs out there. They want to show all their cards. I think they played their cards very close to their vest with the GDC talk that they gave last week. But we want to be energized as players for this new generation, and part of this new generation, and I'll say this over and over again, is being able to access previous generations.
I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Star Wars fans may be seeing even more of the heroic Ahsoka Tano. Last week, rumors surfaced that Rosario Dawson is playing a live-action version of Ahsoka Tano in the upcoming second season of The Mandalorian, but now it looks like that might just be the beginning. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Dawson's appearance in The Mandalorian could be used as a potential backdoor pilot for her own live-action spin-off series. That means Ahsoka would be getting her very own show with Dawson in the lead, presumably set around the same post-Return of the Jedi time period as The Mandalorian. No official announcements have been made, but we do know that Disney is hungry for new Star Wars content to fill Disney Plus, which saw a drop in subscribers after the first season of The Mandalorian ended. The animated version of Ahsoka Tano is currently appearing in the new season of The Clone Wars. And yes, something like this sounds incredibly exciting. I think, Star Wars as we know it today has given us so many characters across, the Skywalker saga, now The Mandalorian. Quite frankly, there's lots to dig into. There's lots of great characters.
I won't leave you!
The Mandalorian did it right. They borrowed something that we were kind of familiar with in the look of The Mandalorian and that attachment that we have, this cultural attachment that we have to Boba Fett, but they spun it off in a brand new way and, delved into mythology and gave us a more fleshed out and rounded character that we care about, and a bunch of other external characters that we care about in a universe that we're familiar with. So long story short, I am very, very excited about an Ahsoka Tano show, and Rosario Dawson is a perfect pick.
I am no Jedi.
All right, that's going to be our rundown for today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new one for you, so make sure you come back for that. If you dug this video today, make sure you hit that like button. If you dig our content and our channel, hit that subscribe button. You can share this with whoever you would like. Thank you to all of our EPN members out there and for everybody that's picking up t-shirts and hoodies and all that stuff. We really appreciate you. You all rock. Please stay healthy and stay happy. And you know what is also incredibly important? Play forever.